The ongoing video series continues. Why can't we have normal conversations? Why is it that we're trapped in this perpetual cycle of irrational discussion and hyperbolic nonsense? Why can't they act like normal adults and drop the insane hyperbole for once? Why is everything always life and death? Why is the rhetoric so incredibly extreme all the time when interacting with leftists? Again, the same thing I always say, it's impossible to have a proper conversation when the other side acts like this. Let me show you guys this viral clip with Rachel Maddow during her latest visit to ABC's The View. Just when you thought The View couldn't get any worse, just when you thought The View couldn't get any more extreme, Rachel Maddow shows up. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, don't really need too much context or background, just take a look at this.
Good example.
Or Sidney Powell or one of these people. I mean, there was nobody who was more important in Congress to Trump's effort to overthrow the lawfully elected government of the United States than Jim Jordan. And so then to make him second in line to the presidency and in charge of Congress certifying the election results in 2024. I mean, that is, I mean, he's still in the running. Maybe it'll still be him. That'll be a big deal if that happens in all the wrong ways. I'm hoping that they go a more moderate direction, but we'll see.
But just you mentioned Trump. Is there no one in the party they can find to put up for the next election besides this criminal?
Are you busy? Are you busy?
I wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't do it. I wouldn't wish it on you, I suppose.
You know, all of them are falling in line. They have the same rap, all of them, except for Chris Christie, who then said today he would back Jim Jordan if he were in the Congress.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
I saw him on
He did.
MSNBC this morning, yeah.
I mean, the Republican Party right now has to make a decision, and it's their decision to make. We have party processes for a reason, but ultimately, if you listen to what Trump is saying, you don't just sort of regard him as a spectacle, but you really listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's basically portraying a future for America if he is put back in the White House in which we don't have another election after that.
That's right.
Because the elections are all rigged, that the democratic process can't be trusted, that Congress should just work for him, the Justice Department should just work for him. That's a strongman form of government. That's not what we have.
He'd cancel the news, like the news are done.
He wants to put MSNBC on trial for treason so that he can execute us. I mean,
It's been 7 years of this nonsense. The talking points are just insane. Donald Trump is inciting violence against journalists. Donald Trump is a Russian Manchurian candidate, a Russian foreign agent. Donald Trump's gonna start nuclear war. Donald Trump's gonna start World War III. Donald Trump is creating concentration camps at the southern border. It's just absolute sheer insanity. One example after another. It's never ending. It's endless. Where do you even get off saying something like that? Donald Trump's gonna put MSNBC on trial and publicly execute us? It's just so detached from reality. But in a way, at least from my view, what I think it is projection. Based on the sort of authoritarian leanings that we've seen from leftists these days, she's probably projecting some sort of internal fantasy. You know, coming from the group of people that essentially wants to re-educate us. Hillary Clinton said this a couple weeks ago.
There wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? You know, because at some point, you know, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
Coming from the political group that wants to control social media, essentially the new public square, deplatforming people, controlling the message, using the CIA and the FBI to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story, coming from the political party that attempted to spawn a U.S. Ministry of Truth, coming from the news stations, CNN and MSNBC, who keep advocating for the federal government to go after Fox News. It just seems like typical projection to me. Actually, I take that back. It doesn't feel like projection, it is projection, considering, again, it's the same political party, the same leftist elitist ruling class that's currently weaponizing the justice system to interfere in the 2024 election by imprisoning their political opponent. talking about Trump wanting to put them on trial as they literally put Donald Trump on trial, using bogus, twisted legal theories that have never been used before, because the evil dictator Honnold Glorf must be stopped at any and all cost. It's another level of crazy, but really it's not crazy, it's evil. It's purposeful. The individuals that you were just subjected to watching on The View are the most extreme level of propagandists. You know how I know you're a propagandist? When you say stuff like this.
But just as you mentioned Trump, is there no one in the party they can find to put up for the next election besides this criminal?
That's not fair and balanced, neutral coverage. That's not a fair discussion. The same leftists who are constantly preaching about the rule of law have no interest in the rule of law. They have no interest in the concept of remaining innocent until proven guilty. In their minds, Donald Trump is guilty. Donald Trump is a criminal. The definition, the label is already set. It's just a question of how do we get there? Again, who are the real authoritarians, huh? The answer is as clear as day. Horrible authoritarian tendencies, pure propagandists, which makes clips like these even more hilarious, but also saddening.
And I tell a number of students, when they ask me, who do I like to watch, journalism students, and I say, watch Rachel Maddow's opening segment, because it is a story, it's a lesson in storytelling. And that you think, where is she going? But then you get there, and it's like, wow.
Thank you. I tell people, if I want, people getting into the business, I say, if I have one piece of advice for you, it's read widely. Read outside just the day's news. Try to read book-length thoughts. Try to think about things in complex terms. The American people need adult-level discussions at complex levels, and people are really capable of absorbing even dark stuff, even complex stuff, as long as it's well presented.
That's NBC's Al Roker going on about how he tells journalism students that what they need to do, their homework, is to watch Rachel Maddow and her opening segments. A lesson in storytelling. Yeah, certainly a lesson in storytelling, a lesson in fantasy fiction storytelling. How incredibly insane, especially considering the fact that Rachel Maddow isn't even a journalist. She isn't doing journalism, working at Opinion MSNBC during her opinion show where she says absolute insane nonsense like this.
That he wants to put MSNBC on trial for treason so that he can execute us. I mean...
Yeah, making a claim like that with absolutely no sources, no facts, not exactly journalist of the year. I mean, I don't know what I need to say here. Kind of struggling for words, struggling for the right thing to say. But in the end, what I ask myself is, do I really need to say anything? Do I really need to explain why this rhetoric is completely nuts? This sort of existential crisis mode fantasy that these leftists live in? I don't think so. I think the clips speak for themselves. It's pure leftist lunacy on display, and anyone with their head screwed on straight can see it for exactly what it is. That's what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.